Hello there. So, I am going to discuss a timeline of events that have happened since Friday, the 24th of January 2020. So, my friend, my best friend, has been poorly since the 23rd of this month and was unable to attend the hospital. Unfortunately, for the last month of 2019, for the most part, my dear best friend's husband has been in hospital. There will be a clip following this timeline of events that shows you what has happened today, which is the 29th of January 2020. So, because my friend couldn't go to the hospital on the 24th of January, I went to speak to the staff to let them know that she was very ill. She had pneumonia, tonsillitis, and one other thing that I've forgotten what she said it was now, all at the same time, and literally couldn't talk and did not have the energy or the capability to be able to go to the hospital. So I went and checked on her husband. Everything seemed to be completely fine. He had been moved from the ward that he was on, which is the stroke/TIA ward, known as Ward 16, to Ward 17. So I went on the Friday. I didn't get back to the hospital on the Saturday for various reasons because I wasn't very well myself. Um, and today I was informed by my friend that on Sunday there was an incident with his peg, which is a feeding tube that goes directly into his stomach so he can be fed like his medication and certain foods and things like that, which he's going to be getting training on being able to do when he's back home. So apparently there was some kind of disturbance of like slight bleeding around his peg. So that was issue number one, because as his wife, she should have been contacted by the ward that he's now on, Ward 17, at our local hospital to let her know that even though the situation was sorted out apparently, which we now don't necessarily believe, that this had happened. If it wasn't for her husband's best friend, we would not have known about this particular incident. When we got there today, the second thing that we discovered is that unfortunately, for some reason, despite the fact that it's written in red lettering on a board above his head next to his bed, that he is on a puree diet, as in like, like when baby food is like made into like a smoothie, or when you buy baby food from the shop, it's kind of like it's pureed food, so it's soft food because he can't eat solid food anymore the way that he used to be able to. So all his food is now pureed. For some reason, at least 5 of his meals that have been brought to him over the weekend, like this week, etc., have been solid food that if he had tried to swallow it, he would not have been able to. Now, we are calling out this particular ward, Ward 17, at our local hospital because of the issue in regards to the peg, the issue in regards to him having been sent solid food when it's stated on his board for the people who deal with the food to see that he has pureed food. The following issue after that is that he has this cream which is prescribed by his GP called Zero Base, which helps with his dry skin that he gets around his face. When he was on Ward 16, all these things were going perfectly fine. his food was sorted out fine, and all of that was sorted out fine and everything. But it appears that since he's been moved towards 17, that he has had this issue with his peg, the issue with his food, the issue with his zero-base cream for his dry skin on his face, and then the most serious thing, which my best friend has put up on her social media, which I shared to my social media, is now since he's had a stroke and a fall that broke his hip, etc., he cannot actually function on his right side. So he can't actually bring his arm over in the way that they would try to indicate that he can to be able to do this. But we discovered on his left hand side, around his elbow region here, that he has a scratch. Now, there's like two smaller scratches, but sometime within the last 12 plus hours, while he's been on ward 17, um, somebody from the staff has scratched him. Now, I saw it after his wife saw it. We both noticed how red it still was, and the fact is that this has been done by nails. Now, I will show you my nails. I've cut them recently. I did not touch him at all, and neither did his best friend when he went to visit. So neither of us have scratched him in any way. Also, his wife hasn't scratched him because since Thursday, the 23rd of January, she's actually been too ill to go to the hospital. So it wasn't until like either yesterday or today that she's been able to actually go into the hospital and discover all these issues in regards to his peg and the food and the zero base, which is prescribed by his doctor, which they were doing on ward 16, and this most serious of issues, which is that he cannot physically in any way cause himself scratches to his arm. Now, I know that I'm going to be called out in the comments, and by proxy, his wife is going to be called out in the comments for exposing Ward 17 for what they've done. I know from having spoken to my friends again earlier that she had a conversation with what I assume is some kind of senior nurse on that particular ward, who she's made it very clear what she can actually do as someone who's been a care assistant in regards to her husband's care or lack of care that's been going on in the hospital and stuff, that she could take it higher and things like that. And apparently the nurse that she spoke to, despite the fact that this is her husband's care that is coming under criticism here, basically this nurse ended up hanging up on my friend. So this is now a fifth issue that's happened. So we've got the peg, the food, the zero base for his face, the scratch, and then being hung up on when all she's done is phone up to check how her husband is now doing since we left the hospital. It's currently now 2:41 a.m. on the 30th of January that I'm filming this. The following clip does include both myself and my dear best friend talking about what's happened. You may or may not be able to see her husband's full name in this video clip. I don't know, but basically we're showing you the evidence. Now, the fact is, it doesn't matter how small or how big the scratch on his arm is. The fact that when he was moved from the TIA stroke unit over to Ward 17, and these things that happen, we have no idea whether or not he is actually being cared for properly, if he's being fed properly, if he's being bathed properly, or anything. We don't know, right? And I could have held off on this and waited to see what happens legally, But I know that there were other issues in that particular 4-bed room that was going on as well. It wasn't just a case of my friend's husband, there was another man that was in there that we hadn't actually been in that room for very long when he was throwing up, right, really badly. So everything that he had literally just eaten while we were there, he threw it all back up. He would have been very dehydrated. Before we went down to have lunch ourselves, we saw no doctor. I don't recall seeing any nurses doing anything particularly thing. Like his own wife went to, or mother, whoever it was, went to get a cardboard like sick bowl and things. So like Um, and so the family that came, I don't think that the staff in that ward were going to tell him that were going to tell his family that he had been sick until they said that they knew because me and my friend had told them that he'd been sick. Um, when we came back from lunch, we saw like we pressed the buzzer to get back onto the ward, and it was like a ghost town in there for at least 5 minutes before someone actually came and opened the door. Now, obviously, lengthy conversation has been had as to what route is going to be going down, but I promised that I would do this timeline of events from Friday when I went in, um, and then Sunday when his best friend went in, and today when me and my best friend have witnessed this scratch, found out about the issue with the peg. We tried to stay calm and stuff, but the final straw is seeing scratches on him when he's supposed to be getting cared for 9.5, 10 weeks that he was on any other ward, especially ward 16. Um, he was cared for properly, bathed properly, moved in and out of his bed properly, and everything. And this ward 17, like the fact that we can get back from going for something to eat, and it didn't appear as if any staff was there, that they weren't, it didn't seem like they were coming forward. This scratch hasn't actually been documented in his notes anywhere that it happened, and as I promised that I would discuss this, I've now discussed this. So I have full permission of his wife to discuss these points. She will also give her own talk on my channel about what's happened, and also the fact that to a degree the ward is actually public space, because obviously members of the public who are like friends and relatives of the people on that ward, right, come in and out to go to visit their relatives. So basically it is a public space. So public spaces you're actually legally allowed to film in, and I had the permission of his wife to film this clip. So you'll hear us both saying what happened in the following clip, and then we'll leave it at that and see what the comments say. But thank you for your time in listening to this. It's a very important issue that needs to be raised, because I appreciate that, yes, they can be understaffed on wards and things like that, but there were a heck of a lot more staff on that ward than when my friend was working as a care assistant and was doing 12-hour day shifts, or like 11, 12-hour night shifts, right? Giving up the breaks and things like that when there were only 3 care assistants looking after like 30 residents and stuff of the care home that she worked in. And if they could do their job properly and everything, and these people, whoever it is that scratched my friend's husband, can't do their job properly, then I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, as someone who's responsible for the care of somebody who cannot care for themselves, a 67-year-old man who still isn't able to care for himself or vocalize the issue, then I'm sorry, but that person doesn't deserve to have the job, because what else are they not admitting to having done? Thank you for your time, and the following clip will show you the scratch, etc. Bye. So we came to the hospital to visit Laura's husband, and when he's been put back in the bed, we have noticed that he has these scratches on him. Now, we didn't do it, and it's been done in the last 12 hours, as you can see.
He can do it to himself either.
And he can't do it to himself because his right side he can't use stretch over. So on top of that, he's also been getting normal food brought to him when it says on his notes that he can only have pureed food. Right, it's even up there. No solids at all.
No tablet meds.
No tablet meds. Right, no.
No, he's supposed to have cream on his face and he ain't been doing it either.
He's supposed to have cream on his face and everything, and he's not been having that. It's called zero base. He's supposed to put on his face to stop the dryness on his face. This is not good. When he was on the other ward across from us, he was getting his zero base put on and everything.
Ward 16, Brill.
And since he's been here,
Ward 17.
In Ward 17, this has happened, and
Zero
he's
care.
been getting like normal food brought and stuff, and we just don't think it's good enough. And so we're recording this so that we've got the proof. I've been here and witnessed this, so I know what's going on, and we'll get back to you on what happens in response to this as soon as possible.